Don't Waste This Podcast is a completely independent podcast. It was written, recorded, edited, and produced by me, Amanda. If you could give me a like and subscribe and rate me 5 stars, that would mean the world to me. It really helps push the podcast out. And if you want more content on the Megan saga, there is a Patreon. It's $5 a month, and it gets you like 8 hours, over 8 hours of unedited interviews on the topic. Hi, it's me again. Do you remember when I told you I was over this story at the end of the last episode with Chloe and Justin and Alex? Well, I have some updates for you. And I've gone back and forth for months about whether or not I would update this feed with more Megan stuff. And that's because I think I've said this before. I don't want to just be following her around and get in this cat and mouse game. However, some new information was brought to light by me. Somebody sent it to me on Instagram. And so I feel like, being that I have learned that Megan is still scamming and still is doing these awful things, I would feel wrong not saying this, right? I would feel wrong not responding or not telling people what's going on. So Megan's been pretty quiet over the last few months, with the exception of she had a little media moment, as she's known to do, where she linked up with a guy that is native to Indiana named Gabe Whitley. Gabe Whitley has been accused of some similar crimes to Megan. He, I think, defrauded. It was something with campaign finance fraud. I believe he is going to jail for this soon. It's funny. I did an interview with Rob Kendall, who runs a talk radio station in Indiana, and he told me that I should look into a story about a guy named Gabe Whitley when I'm done looking into Megan Stoner story. And Megan's scammed Rob years back, years ago, trying to sell him the story of her being, allegedly sexually assaulted. And he went through everything and learned it wasn't true. She did that to multiple journalists. I think you remember that from this season. Well, he told me to look into this guy, Gabe Whitley, and a couple months later, Megan is doing a podcast interview thing with this guy named Gabe Whitley, same guy, where she said she was going to finally come forward and tell her truth, as if I did not invite her on this show at every chance I got, as if she did not go on Something Was Wrong with Tiffany, as if she doesn't speak publicly about it all the time on social media. She said it was time to go out and tell her truth, and she just lied through her teeth. She told the same lies over and over and over and over again. She, in response to that YouTube video interview thing, which is called the Hoosier Inquirer, that she did with Gabe, Justin and I did a Twitter space, which you may know about if you're in the Facebook group or the Instagram feed, but I know most people who follow the podcast don't watch those. So I think later this week I will download the Twitter space and put it up so you can hear it. And maybe I'll go through the Whitley video too and point out where she lied. But it's the same thing she always does, right? She just went back and reverted to the same story, even though it's all been disproven. But ever since that, that was around the beginning of May, a little bit, maybe end of April of 2025, she's been kind of silent, and I'm recording this on June 24th of 2025. She's been pretty quiet, and I knew she was probably doing something wrong, but I didn't know about it until today. Well, a couple days ago, I woke up to a DM on Instagram from someone who wants to remain anonymous, but she told me that Megan has become kind of Substack famous, saying that she is a victim of human trafficking, who heals from this trauma via yoni massages and coaches. Does this sound familiar? She's going by the name Whitney. Her last Substack was called The Healing Rebellion, but now it's called Holy Rebellion. So again, with the weird Christianizing sex work. I I don't understand. But she's raising money via Cash App for food, and she set up a PayPal to she says it's to help survivors cover legal fees. In this latest Substack, she has 165 subscribers. So, she's not learning her lesson. And in the meantime, I just feel like it's my duty, even though I don't want to be in this cat and mouse game, to keep updating you all. Because if I know this information and I don't tell people, it's easier for her to get away with it. So, yeah, Megan's using the same story to scam people out of money again, this time on Substack. And, I, you know, I don't know what we're going to do with this girl. So, because of this, I am going to upload this interview I did with Megan's former jail roommate. Um, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to release this, and I think once you listen, you'll understand why. This former roommate was a little bit of backstory. I've talked about her on the podcast before. She got into the Facebook group and she was kind of fighting with people, accusing them of pretending to be gay, asking why people from Alaska were in the group. It was kind of strange. You could tell that maybe something was a little off there. And randomly, a couple months ago, she DM'd me and she was like, I want to do an interview. She says a lot of stuff in this interview. I do want to point out, I did reach out to the Indiana, police and stuff about this to request. Everybody have spoken to has denied the accusations that Stephanie has made. Um, and that's one of the reasons I never wanted to upload this is it's just like, you'll get it once you listen. But there are some interesting revelations about Megan in there, about what Megan was like in jail. And so I don't know. I figure Stephanie wants this uploaded. So I figure why not? I'm going to put this up and like I said, the people from jail have um denied all any wrongdoing, but this is out there. So i- that's kind of all the update is. Megan's still scamming like she was. She's saying the exact same thing she was. I'm gonna upload the Twitter space and maybe the response to Gabe Whitley's Hoosier Inquirer thing. Um, Here's an interview of Megan's roommate from jail. And thank you all for listening. I promise more seasons are coming. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard when I was so close to this story. I know how to write it. I know how to tell it. With others, I get very self-conscious that I'm going to do a bad job. But those are coming. But for now, I hope you enjoy this. And we'll just get into it. I'm Amanda, and this is Don't Waste This Effing Podcast, the story of Megan Stoner.
Amanda,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for reaching out to me. I'm glad we could connect.
Yes, me too. Finally.
Yeah, so just do you want to start off by just telling me what made you want to reach out again after we had initially spoken?
Yeah. Number one, I'll be honest. So things are going a lot better for me and my safety, but I'm now fighting. So I figured if I reach out to you, well, first I wanted to get a hold of Megan Stoner, to see. So that was number one. And second, I'm thinking, you know what, this might actually be a good thing for me too, because if your a podcast is as popular as I think, maybe those guys like we were talking about will listen and they'll back off. Because right now I don't feel safe. And that's why I left Indiana.
I'm so sorry to hear that you're not feeling safe. Do you want to give me a little background about how you met Megan?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Michigan. I was getting sexually harassed and stalked. It's a long story, but kind of instigated by my family. And
I'm so
it,
sorry.
it just went, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I went out of, it was like out of control. I would have like, please come to my door, but they weren't like being nice. They were acting aggressively, tried to add me on social media, on my phone. But, it might not sound bad or dangerous, but it was. They were acting very aggressive, threatening they were going to take my dog. If I don't give them my dog, I mean, and I've never heard of a psychiatric facility or really what it was. It just sounded scary. He literally told me, I'm going to put you in a psychiatric facility. You're acting mental. Go get your dog. But he was trying to give my dog to my mom, who was kind of abusing the dog and abusing me. So then, okay, long story short. So, I mean, but I'm trying to stay in Michigan for years because I don't want to leave my nieces and nephews behind. Finally, I'm like, oh, this is getting way too dangerous. Like somebody's going to get badly hurt. Like they're starting to get like threatening towards me because now I'm threatening. I have a legal background and an HR degree, so I feel like they were worried I was going to file a lawsuit. So the sexual harassment and stalking turned into like death threats. So I moved to Indiana. Within at a very short time, I felt like I was being stalked and targeted and felt like my family or some of those officers tracked me down again. Another podcast on how I think they did it. Okay. So I walk into the Carmel Police Department. The guy's trying to instigate me. He's spelling my name wrong. I could tell he's deliberately agitating me. And I'm like, look, if I give them what they want, which is a felony, maybe they'll leave me alone. And I'm telling you the honest to God truth. I really don't want to be a convict. I really didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't go in there to flirt with them or, anything like that. I was frantic. I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have any support system, anybody, anything. No husband, no children, like literally nobody. So when you're like in your car going from hotel to hotel, you're going to start kind of going a little like, you know, slightly losing it. I knew that's what they wanted. I'm an older woman. They've already done it to me repeatedly in Michigan, but I didn't know what else to do because every time I moved to a different city, like in my state in Michigan, they would like just track me down again where I live, where I work, and I kept having to quit my job, just like a normal stalker. But I've never dated them. So now I'm in Indiana thinking I'm going to get a fresh start, and they're doing it again. And this is going on. This is over 7 years, like 7 years. Okay, so I slapped the window at the Carmel Police Department. I may have done it twice. I think in the police report it said twice. I started cussing him out. Honestly, I don't think it's important about all the details, just in case for my safety or it might go to a civil lawsuit. I don't know if this could affect it negatively. And honestly, I don't care. I don't want their money. I just want them to leave me alone. I don't really want to sue anybody, but I've learned um, I used to make those dumb statements. Hey, look, I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone. I'm a Christian. I don't want to sue you. I don't want your money. Just please, can you just leave me alone? So the more nice I was to them, the more aggressive they became. And I learned one thing about these guys in my family. They're very, very obsessed with money. They'll like kill you over money. So I was like, if I sue them, maybe they'll back off. So that's what ended up happening. And then I said some things, okay, but I wasn't acting all erratic like they kind of tried to make it. I got arrested. And then I was charged with a felony intimidation. The details behind the intimidation is threatening a police officer. So I went to jail for 6 months. I was supposed to bond myself out. They wouldn't let me. That's another story. And that's when I met Megan Stoner within like 7 days after getting in jail because they lied and said I was suicidal. I was not. And then so they took me out of that area and then put me with people, the general population, I believe it's called. It's been a little while. And that's when they initially put me with her first. And I remember her saying, I think we're going to get along. And I'm thinking, if she looks so innocent when you first meet her, I mean, that's why she's so scary because she just looks like this little innocent girl.
Mhm. I think that's one of the reasons she was able to scam a lot of people is because she does come off like well, first of all, I think with everything you've been through and with what a lot of women go through, we want to believe you, right? Like who wants to hear a story like that and immediately say no, you're lying, you know? And I think that that's one of the reasons Megan comes off as so sympathetic, but also, yeah, I mean, so I think that yeah, it sounds like she kind of approached you the way she does to a lot of people. So you were her bunkmate in jail?
Yes, yes.
And so you got out, and everything is resolved with your case now?
Everything is resolved, but immediately, I don't know if you want to get into this. It's okay if you don't, and you just want to stick to, Megan Stoner, me meeting her, and
Go ahead. Tell me whatever you want. Yeah.
okay. Well, appreciate that. Thank you. So immediately after I left, I was approached by the police. So I already knew because they had already been indirectly threatening me. They were going to rape me. At this point, I didn't really know how bad it was, and like some of the inmates were trying to calm me down. They're like, you're just being hysterical, but they were just like playing me too. There's a lot of evil people in there as well. Just including some of the I'll just call them employees because there were some evil civilian ones in there, like the social worker, right? But the correctional officer, there's some really, really great ones, like great people, I've I've never met before. They were phenomenal people, but they were the younger correctional officers, like more innocent. Um,
Can you
and
can you just really quick, I'm sorry. Can you just
Yeah, it's okay.
give me an example of what a threat sounded like when you say that they were indirectly threatening you? What would that sound like?
Actually, with the inmates or the correctional officers
Both.
or both. Um, Okay, so and I can tell you a lot of things that like are not out there, which is a good thing because I want the public to know and I want you to know because I don't want and obviously this to ever happen to you or anybody that I know because some people think that to be a convict is kind of cool. I'm going to turn into like this gangster. Maybe I'll meet these cops and I want to tell you like exactly how dangerous it is. So, first of all. Sometimes you might hear like, oh my God, like people will go crazy. They'll kill you over drugs. When you go in there, they act like the food is drugs and you will get hurt in there for food. They'll bully you for your food. They'll make you feel threatened, like they might hurt you, beat you physically. Um,
Wow.
if you don't give them your food. And Megan played a lot of games with food, by the way. She knew that, and to get a lot of people on her side, I don't know how she knows this because she's so young. I don't know how she learned to be so dangerous and manipulative. But it was because of her I almost got badly beat up. So, when it looked like I was sticking up for her. Remember when I first met you months ago? Absolutely, that's not what I was doing at all. I can't stand her. I probably can't stand her more than any of the inmates. But then again, they were giving her free food, and I don't really care about that much food. I'm not like, I mean, I love food, but none like that. And not in jail. You want to be respectful, like eat your own food. Like I'm not gonna, if I'm hungry, I'm not gonna bully somebody for somebody else's food.
Right.
So it's that. So it was like food, and then what else?
So they would threaten like you need to give me your food. That would be a threat.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Would you say that they were
With it.
sexually harassing?
Yes.
How what would that threat be like?
Okay, so one time, a girl, she appeared to not like me. When she came in there, I really didn't like her because she said, I'm going to get me a B word in here. I'm going to get me a, can I swear over your podcast? I think,
Of course.
because,
Of course.
yeah. Okay. She goes, I'm going to find me a bitch. And right away I knew, oh, this is not like going to be my friend. Like, I don't like
Mhm.
trust people like that because I don't care what you are, but you're not like, you don't refer to any of my friends. Like, if one of my friends is gay, you're not going to refer to her as like your bitch.
Yeah.
And then one of the other inmates tried to correct her, and she didn't seem to care, but she was just like totally out there and very loud. And I didn't think she liked me. She just treated me differently. Again, though, like I don't need somebody else's food or free food. Then she'd give away like all this food. Her family was like putting a lot of money in her commissary, from what I remember that was called. And then she told an inmate to tell me that she was going to open the door while I was naked in the shower. And I said she better not. So she was basically like hitting on me. Is that what you were asking about? So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So when did you ever bring these concerns of I guess I would classify that maybe as sexual harassment. Did you ever bring that to the people working at the jail? Like I did with social workers? Yeah.
Yeah, it most definitely is. And it's also like you can contact like the Priya line, but one of the sergeants, male sergeant that was harassing me told me, you're the only inmate that doesn't have access to it. I'm like, what the heck? That's kind of a threat. Like what? And so
Had you
I
called it
got a
before? Had you called it out?
yes,
Yeah.
multiple times because they kept threatening me every few days. which I feel like was influenced by other inmates, especially Megan Stoner, because she thought it was funny. She put my life in jeopardy so many times.
So you think that Megan Stoner told other inmates to sexually harass you, to
Yes,
intimidate you,
she
or
did
to
too.
put it?
Yes. She kind of sexually harassed me too. She was harassing other inmates. So in general, they didn't really like her. But in the last block, when they put me with, when they put me back with her, um, I was surprised how much they liked her. I don't know if she changed because I started ignoring her. I go, you better leave me alone. Don't come anywhere near me after what she did. Which I didn't even get into the biggest thing that she did to me.
Oh,
Put
yeah,
my
why
life
don't
in
you tell
jeopardy.
me? Yeah.
Okay, so I reported her sexual assault. So I did believe her on that. Now she does lie a lot, but there's a reason why I believe her, and I hope I can get to that. But I don't know how much time we have.
Sure.
So okay, so after they took her away, and I don't know, I've kind of felt like later maybe they did that on purpose so I could be more comfortable reporting her, so I could look like a rat. So both the bad correctional officers, the bad ones, and the bad inmates, they wanted me to look like a rat. They didn't want the officers that had crushes on to like me, so they wanted me to look like I think, but all I cared about was myself and survival. It was about me at that point. I didn't care, and I did care about her. I did. I don't think that should happen, but she lied to me. She exaggerated. I think she was flirting with the cops and she liked it and she enjoyed it. Because, and I can tell you why, she was like looking back when she told, she's such a great actress. And when looking back, I'm thinking, she kind of she didn't really cry about it or was concerned or the way that she told me, because I knew all this stuff and I know I'm older, but I don't really have any random people coming up to me confessing or telling me, confiding in me, I mean, and telling me they got raped. But the officers, what she told me right before her rape, one of them, they told her what to do. He said that to me during my hearing when he was trying to intimidate me. So, I mean, could he just have said that and didn't touch her? Yeah. Okay. Um, Maybe it didn't happen. I don't know, but I really do feel like it did. And so I have to watch myself because my family wants me to get raped. They want me to file like mental disability. So that's why I'm more protective of my body. Does it make sense? Because it's kind of like, okay, Stephanie, you're an older woman. If they rape you, just handle it. You'll be fine. Who cares? But that's why I was more frantic and I was not going to allow that to happen. And so that's why I swear to you, like every few days, they really tired me out and burned me out. I remember it was like every 3 days in a span of 6 months, I called. I tried to call pre or warn them or sent them like a message through the tablet. So apparently she likes to go both ways. She likes male cops and the correctional officers, and then she likes women in there too. She was very disrespectful to women, like standing over them naked while they were sleeping, and they would wake up and they would find her naked. Those are the kinds of things she did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But wow. Um, so
It's not funny, but I'm just like it's just unbelievable what she was able to get away with. I mean, what I mean, they could have put her in. They could have reprimanded her. They did not. They like the officers were acting like they enjoyed it because they taunt women like us that don't want it, and it mentally taunts us and tortures us, and it bothers us. It triggers us. It's
mhm.
annoying.
So okay, so I mean, I just want to establish a little bit more background on this. So, would you say that there were consensual relationships between other female inmates in the jail? Was
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah, I saw that
yeah,
for
okay,
sure.
so you saw
Yes.
that. But with Megan, it she would approach people in a consensual way in your opinion.
Yes, because not one inmate told me that they wanted it. They were disgusted by her and they reported her. So, if anything, a lot of the inmates, they will target you, and they did definitely target me. They didn't want to be a rat, but I was very pleased and happy when I heard rumors that other inmates, because I try to keep to my business and don't ask around things. I just think it's disrespectful and I want to get myself in a lot of trouble. But inmates did tell me that other inmates reported her. She was recorded.
Okay, and she was reported over
On the
unwanted
tablet.
sexual advances. Oh, okay.
Yes.
On the
Yep.
tablet.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. Um
via tablet. They may have discussed verbally, knowing, a lot of the inmates, some of them did like to talk and gossip a lot to the guards just for attention even. But I was told that it was in the tablet from what I remember, a couple of them.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my head around all this. So,
Ask me anything. To be honest with you, I'm very transparent at this point. If anything
yeah.
makes me feel uncomfortable, or if I feel like it could jeopardize me in some way, like my safety, then I will let you know. But to be honest with you, I'm, again, I don't want to keep reminding you of my age, but I just feel like as an older woman, when you've been through stuff, especially, you really don't want this to happen, and I want it to stop with me. And she did try to get a hold of me very recently, and I blocked her. I sort of regret it. So that's why I remember I reached out to you yesterday or whenever, and I said, do you have her number so I can call her, because she did try to reach out, but I ended up blocking her immediately because I think I don't remember where I read it. I think it was from you because I still kept tabs just a little bit after I left the group, and I said, oh my God, she's trying to she's using her mom's account.
Mhm.
And I don't know why that's happening, but
Well,
she's extremely dangerous to me. I don't want anything to do with her.
yeah, I
But
mean, Megan uses a bunch of different aliases now. She uses her mom's account. She uses Elizabeth Stone. She uses um Megan Elizabeth, I think. There's a couple different accounts that she uses.
okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, it just basically she either refuses to get a job or um can't get one. I honestly don't know
Yeah,
what the truth
they're
is.
just lazy and they like scamming. And one thing I wanted to tell you, because she loves attention so much, is that she's more than excited to go back to that jail. That's why I told you too. Like she will use you. She will use you. And if I could just go back a little bit,
Sure.
Amanda, like remember when you were asking me about well, she did. So I ended up reporting her rape. I remember saying, guys, I'm kind of concerned. I'm thinking these guys were very professional. I have nothing to worry about. But things were, it was starting to give me like unwanted attention. And then I'm already getting threats onto the outside from regular cops. So I'm like begging and pleading with them, like, please don't do that to me in here. So when I hit the microphone, I forgot what you call it, the radio button inside my cell. And after she left, and again, and I said, because I didn't know where she left at like 1 o'clock in the morning. They took her somewhere, I'm sorry, no, that was the first time, sir. So I hit the button after the second time they took her away, and I didn't know they were taking her. She would make all kinds of excuses to go back where she was supposedly, allegedly assaulted. So that's when I hit the radio button. Now, 2 weeks later, I don't remember. It felt like a long time later. I felt like, oh my God, this girl set me up to look like a rat. And she could have put me in jeopardy. Can you imagine?
So,
Could have murdered me in there. So she put me in jeopardy. She doesn't care. It's all about her. She's extremely greedy and evil and selfish. I'm sorry, she's not just 25, She's probably 26 now, anyways, but
okay, so when you say, so you think she set you up
yes,
to call and report a sexual assault
yes.
that she claimed to have undergone, and then so when you say make you a rat, what does that mean? Is that would you be
She just wanted
punished?
to make everybody look bad. She just wanted to be like, I guess the main person that, those officers like. She's so full of herself. And I remember her telling me one time when I told her, my underwear was stolen, I thought, this girl's irritating me. I'm going to just throw a couple things in her face, but I was scared too. I really was, I'm being honest with you. And she was the only person that I felt like I could talk to. Not that well, I did kind of think I trust her. I didn't know that she was going on the tablet and talking and on the phone all these times. No, looking back, and those officers were listening to her conversations, what we were talking about, and she knew it because she's been in and out of jail, right? Talking to the inmates, friends with them, gossiping with them. I had no idea they do that. I still don't even really believe it. But
Well,
she thinks they're constantly listening, and she thinks they think she's so adorable and so gorgeous. I'm not kidding. And so she goes out of her way to make everybody else look like bad. If she thinks that you're getting a lot of attention from them, then that's what she does. So
that doesn't surprise it. Well, that I mean that's kind of what she did to my friend Justin is she thinks that he's interested in her but he's gay. And so, yeah.
Yeah, she did talk about him because there was two guys. One of them she said is ex, and yeah, and I was surprised
Her
by this whole
ex?
personality.
What was the ex's
Yeah,
name?
I can't remember if
Was
his
it
name.
was it Jake or Leo or Harry?
They don't sound familiar, but Justin kind of does sound
Well,
familiar.
Justin was on the podcast. So Justin's a good friend of mine who,
Okay.
when Megan was scamming, Megan basically turned herself in. She was awaiting trial. She missed a bunch of, she bonded out, missed, and then she basically violated her, I think it's called, not parole. She violated the terms of her bail.
Probation?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
not, I mean, she violated the terms of her bail. And so she was supposed to go in and they were going to bring her back to jail and then she might have been able to bond out again awaiting her trial, but she didn't have the money to bond out. So she ended up, finally going to her. But okay, when she was running
I
from
think
the
that's when I
police.
met her, right? That's when I met her when she was in there for 4 or 5 months, right? That's when I
Yes,
met her.
that's when you
And
would
I
have
think,
met her. Hmm.
yeah, and I remember I met her. She said it was her counselor too, but she dated him too. Is Justin a counselor, some kind of psychologist or anything?
No,
Okay.
so when Megan was running from the police, we found out that she had scammed about $15,000 from one individual since she bonded out.
Yeah.
And she was in jail for scamming. And so after we found out that she was still a threat to the community, somebody posed as a sexual healing practitioner and spoke to her for a while and under the guise that
No
she would hire.
way.
Yeah, so that's what the podcast is
Oh,
about.
wow.
So there was a different person who talked to her on the phone.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I mean, for somebody like that to have that many, she acted like all these friends and all these people, and here I am in jail. I feel like I'm this, a decent, really good person, and I didn't have anybody in there. It was like, and everybody seemed to. And I'm not saying this to feel sorry. I swear, I'm just being real honest. Like, it makes me mad though. I don't want that to happen. To anybody else. Obviously, I don't trust and want anything to do with my family. I guess I could have reached out, but they wouldn't have called me. They wouldn't have called me. Just to rob me. I mean, so they can get my bank account information while I'm in jail. They did try to do that while I was there. But when she spent a lot of time with these people, including her mom.
So
It's annoying. She's just a bad person. She had me talk to her mom at one point. She's like, "Mom, I got raped. Mom, I'm scared." So she pressures me, and I'm thinking, man, this mom is not looking out for her daughter, right? So I take the phone, I talk to her. So this is within the 2 weeks before I knew she's just this scammer and she's just this liar and she's an amazing actress. That's what she is.
so
So
okay. So well, I'm sorry to hear about the bad things with your family. I'm glad to hear that you feel safer now. Um, and you don't want to disclose where you are. Do you want to disclose what happened with your case? I think I looked
oh
something up when
yeah,
you initially reached out to me. Um, because and and so you said it was police intimidation?
yeah. I'm sorry. Did you say when I reached out to you or somebody else reached out to you? I didn't hear that. You cut off a little bit.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think when you reached out to me, I looked up your charges. Um, so
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you can
yeah.
talk about that because it's done. The case is done. Okay, good. At this point, they are trying to recharge me with something else so I can come back there because they want me to be their prostitute. Because here's what happened. This is what they do with just not every woman, but some women. If they think you have the potential to make money, if you have money, if you're on Social Security, if you're on Indian reservation, if you're attractive, if you're not attractive enough, but there's just something about you, you are going to be targeted by them and they'll make you in and out of the jail and they'll make you go in and out of the jail. You can be the most innocent person, but and I promise you, I mean, I'm not talking about everybody else, okay, or their life. I'm just talking about me. I'm not saying Megan's innocent, this inmate's innocent, this person. I'm just telling you my story and what I feel. Did I go berserk on that day? Of course I did. Is it illegal? I don't think so. You're stalking me. That's like if I dated a guy and you're bothering me and I'm screaming at the guy to get the hell off my property. I finally get brave enough and courage enough and the police come and arrest me, but not him. That's what happened.
Okay. Um, okay. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this. Um, I
You can think and believe, even if you twist things, okay? So, do whatever you feel. I'm still gonna tell my story. I'm gonna stick to it.
oh, look,
I
I'm not
eventually one
twisting
day.
anything. I'm not twisting. I'm
You
just.
think, that you're trying to go and say, if you just say what's on your mind. I'm not gonna get offended. I have very thick skin, of
Oh,
course.
oh,
Now, at this point, I've been in trouble now in Arizona when I moved away. Police won't leave me alone. And did it change me as a person? Am I perfect now anymore? No. But I mean, kind of, I feel like God created the way that I am to protect myself and to
yeah.
finally stand up for myself. Right. So anyway,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
ask away because it's
Well,
like you're being hesitant a little bit. Just ask away.
well,
It'll be fine.
I'm trying to make sure I ask all of the right questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I know
I
it's last
feel
minute too.
well, and
It's last
I
minute
feel
too.
so bad for the story you're telling me. You know, like it sounds like you've been through a lot, and like I have a lot of
Yeah.
empathy and compassion for that. And so I'm so sorry you've been through all this. Um, so you were in Michigan, and your family's
I was
there,
in.
and then you went to Indiana,
Yes.
and then you
Yes.
left Indiana. Do you and okay,
Yeah, I was trying to move around. Basically, that's what domestic violence will do if you're experiencing it. So I didn't like California. I was very dangerous. I went to Florida, didn't like it. Then I met somebody online. It was a female. Actually, I turned out to be a transvestite. I didn't know he was anything. I mean, I just found out recently. So he's like, oh, or she's like, yeah, it's safe here. It's awesome. And I had asked somebody else, like kind of a good friend of mine, more of an acquaintance, and they said, oh my God, yeah. But I didn't ask what area. But the other person, the guy told me, yeah, Hamilton County's amazing. And I came over because it's more conservative and I moved here from, California. Um, but as soon as I got there, it was like chaos. Um, so yeah, and I think, you're trying to be polite, but I promise you, and if it takes a second podcast, if you want to do another one and, because I know like I just, this was, we just set this up like what, an hour ago?
yeah,
And but I want you to feel comfortable because I just think again, when you get older and wiser like me, honestly, I really just feel like I don't really have anything to hide except I am naturally, believe it or not, a very, very private person. I'm actually mad that I have to, do this.
hmm
But I think I just think that I don't know, it's just kind of like meant to be. Like somebody's going to hear this and help me, and or this is going to help somebody else. Hopefully, a bunch of
definitely,
people.
definitely. So
So,
okay, okay, but you're doing okay now. You think?
it's not settled. I don't feel like settled. I don't feel like it's completely done because now I'm contacting like government agencies and trying to get them to stop. So, here's the thing. It's like stalkers. They usually like have like multiple victims, and if you go away, they'll probably forget about you. But when you call and start making complaints and want to file lawsuits, that's when the threats start coming again. So.
Okay, yeah. So with your initial charges, okay, I'm just this is going to be out of left field, but I so with your last are you are you by chance of Syrian descent?
Um, Assyrian or Syrian, like Syrin, or are you saying Assyrian? Like, because there's two.
Syrian. Yeah.
ASS, like ASS, what?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but it's the same thing. So I'm
Yeah.
actually Chaldean American.
Okay,
I was
okay.
born.
I knew that I could tell that you were of Middle Christian and Middle Eastern descent.
Yeah,
And you were
yeah, Catholic. And then
yeah.
so it split, the church split. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about that. So Assyrians and Chaldeans were actually the same culture, but the only thing difference is they look like they have like more they're generally like more blonde. So if you see an Assyrian, you might assume that they're white, Caucasian. Chaldeans do look more
Middle Eastern.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like I actually get a lot of Italian or
hmm
Greek. We're still light, but the Assyrians are later, and their dialect is a little different. So I can still probably talk to them in Chaldean or whatever, but their dialect is a little different.
I was just wondering because I know in your charges, I think at one point were you charged with terrorism, and I didn't know if it was connected to you being
Okay,
of Middle Eastern
no,
descent.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry to laugh about that, but it made me so angry, and I think they did it on purpose to like. I felt like they were trying to taunt me. in some way, I'm like, I'm not even Muslim. And then even if I'm Muslim, I was born here. So I
Yeah.
feel, I,
That
honestly,
stuck
Amanda,
out to me. Yeah.
you
No,
know
that
why they
stuck out
did
to
that?
me. Oh, why?
Yeah. I feel like they wanted me like on the terrorist list in the future so that like if I travel and things happen or they check me, isn't that kind of weird? It's kind of scary. Usually they do it to men too. I'm not even a man. I'm not be as sexist in any way, I swear to you.
Yeah,
But
I,
I
I
know that a
assumed
terrorist.
no, no,
I
I
just
assumed when I put together I assumed it was some sort of a discrimination. And my background is my degree in college was religious studies, so I know a lot about like Levantine Christian groups and stuff like that. So I mean, I assumed that you might be I assumed Syrian, not Chaldean, but I understand that
yeah.
and that's
There's no, there's not really any Chaldeans in Indiana, I don't think, or Western, but this is going to be the craziest thing since you brought this up. Okay,
Mhm.
so majority of us mainly in Michigan,
Mhm.
and the next highest population is actually San Diego, California, which I have a lot of distant cousins. My last name is it's just like Smith and Caucasian. Like my last name Abo is very popular, and
Mhm.
everybody knows like an Abo.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like in a good way. We have a good reputation, our last name, and that's
Mhm.
just the way it is in different cultures.
Mhm.
But David Nader, the judge, my judge, and the same judge as her. Now, Chaldeans don't usually look Indian, but he kind of does because he's darker than the average Chaldean. But I actually thought he was Indian, and I'm telling the inmates, no, he's Chaldean. They're like, no, he's not. No, he's not. They never really know what Chaldean is. So my judge, that's why I think he gave me a lot of unwanted attention. I'm actually the same descent as him, which is extremely rare to find in Indiana. Like,
Oh, the
yeah,
Judge Najjar is Chaldean.
yeah, he knows I'm Chaldean. He would have to know from my last name. My last name is just as popular and big as Najer's, and I'm actually related to Najer's by marriage. And I grew up with a bunch of Najers, so I know. And he's lying. I don't know if he's. Um, so Chaldeans are usually almost always proud. I don't know if he's not proud, but nobody knows he's Chaldean, and he does. You can just tell and sense that he doesn't tell anybody his. And I'm not like that, but this has changed me. I'm not like to me this would be like gossiping about Megan Stoner and the judge or whatever. But at this point, again, it's survival mode, and I'm not going to be loyal or respectful to somebody that slandered and defamed me and put me in danger like that judge did and Megan Stoner. So that did change me. Um,
Yeah.
Gossip is like if you're talking about somebody's weight or looks or whatever. If somebody puts me in danger, like Megan, that's why Megan reached out to me. She's not because she wants to talk to me and be my friend. She wants to talk about the officers again in there, and she would put me back in jail for them. She knows she's not dumb. I would. That's why I'm surprised I tried to reach out to her and I contacted you. I don't even remember what I want from her. Just maybe like I do want her to report the sexual assault if she really was because it would help me out because it would stop targeting me because I could tell when I tried to call there when I tried to call Pure after I left it's just not looking good. Like I just can't come to the area. I can't come anywhere near Indiana until I know for sure it would be fine. But even after that, I mean, they did a lot of bad things to me. They ended up putting me in a psychiatric ward against my will. I guess so I would lose credibility and because then now I'm a mental case, right? So I had no rights during the. I can actually sue them for multi-millions if I wanted. So yeah, would they want me dead? Of course. Of course, I would. It would be totally unsafe for me if I came back there. They're very Dane-like, and there was I read somebody's quote and I saved it, and it said something about people that go for those positions, high positions, usually like they like the status. It's not that they really want to help people; they just like to be popular. They're usually criminals, and that's exactly what I saw because every single time, like I called Chris Jetter's office, he's a state rep. The way he handled it, I felt like he was targeting me, and that they're very conniving and evil. They'll even hit on you on purpose so that you can accuse them, and then say, "Look at her, look at her." Look at her audience. Look at her community. She thinks everybody wants her. She thinks, everybody's after her. She's a paranoid schizophrenic. She thinks she's that gorgeous. But, I could assure you, I was for sure hit on by cops, by police officers in Michigan, for sure. And then in the jail, they were totally inappropriate. They made passes at me, which we didn't even discuss in the jail. And I couldn't tell anybody because I didn't want the inmates to target me because they would get like crazy jealous. It was very dangerous. And I was trying to tell the officers, do not give me any more attention and do not make passes at me. I remember telling one of the officers that. I think that's how bad it was that I actually had to embarrass him and tell him, you guys need to knock it off. You guys better knock it off.
Can you tell me what
Yeah.
or sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you tell me what it was like when they made a pass at you? Like, can you walk me through what that situation looked like and felt like for you?
I'll just say, like, in general, what I've seen them do. Okay, only because it's slightly uncomfortable to do that.
Yeah.
But um, Okay, so one of the guys, when he was handing me food, this is like when they put me in the padded cell for apparently being suicidal. Okay, which I wasn't, of course. So he, while I'm handing him the garbage, he like grabbed my whole hand, and I'm just thinking, okay, that was an accident. Well, like I had more garbage to give him because it's through like this little hole, so you can't grab all your garbage at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it to me a second time, and then that was basically it was him, but not really. Actually, they used him to threaten me that I cannot come out of the padded cell, which was freezing, and I didn't sleep there. And I didn't sleep in there for a few days, 3 days in a row, I remember, until like I accept medication. Now, even if I have a mental illness, not everybody needs medication. Do you agree? Do you at least know that? I know you're young, and that's not your
Yeah.
area. You're not a okay. So, especially when you're like in jail, they're not real doctors in there. So they actually threatened me that I had to take these mental medication, which I ended up doing just to get my ass out of there. So, and he did it. They used him. They didn't want me to like him. They knew I liked him because one thing, he's the last person I want to talk about. He was actually one of the kindest ones that I ended up like respecting the most was and I wanted to be like his friend because he cared when I got maced accidentally. Was the only officer that came to check up on me to make sure I was okay. Now, so I really don't like hate him. I didn't take offense to really like that pass or anything like that. But don't you think it's inappropriate? Like, okay, I'm sitting there for 5 days in a row, sleeping by myself. I don't have any friends to call. I have no family, nobody. And did he feel sorry for me? But to be honest with you, when you actually go through something like that, Amanda, it's actually offensive. Because if he didn't do it to me, I wouldn't have started liking him because then I started liking him. I started liking the attention. Does that make sense? So they must have seen it on camera or he laughed about it or something and went and told them. Now I'm more vulnerable for other officers to make passes because in their weird mind they're thinking, well, if she didn't report him and maybe possibly likes it, maybe she'll like me too. So then I ended up having a few more incidences with other officers. And quite honestly, most of them, they didn't feel offensive. I don't know why, they seemed cool, most of them. But I didn't like the one that supposedly raped Megan Stoner. I didn't like him threatening me. So he definitely threatened me. And then I had to fake a suicide to get out of that, what I feel like a rape, a potential rape. Um,
I'm so sorry.
so yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and just think about it. It's like you're living there. You're living there for like 6 months. So yeah, no, don't be sorry. It's happening. It's happening every single day. Everywhere. I think we just need people like you. Use your podcast to warn people. To tell the public, and so it doesn't happen to them again. The reason why there's no support for females like me is because people are protecting these guys
Yeah.
and some people like it, and I saw inmates go in and out of jail. It to me, because I'm like, these are dumb crimes and they're telling me they didn't even do anything, and they're flirting with the cops and liking a lot of the attention, trying to get a lot of attention from them, and then you gotta wonder, did they come in here on purpose like Megan Stoner does?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I don't know for sure. I'm not her. I'm not in her mind. I don't know, but she seemed like it was just like a little kid at a concert. Every time they would walk in, she'd go crazy. So if she did finally report, I wish she's not going to be credible. She kind of is, but they're going to use it as an excuse because to me, this is what I've learned. If you're over the age of 30 and you're a male, 90% of them are raping women. I don't know where they learned it from or where they learned that behavior is acceptable. That's why I'm not just pointing the finger at police officers and correctional officers. Most of the correctional officers I don't even think are raping women. I don't know. I don't think so. But but they threatened me that they were going to do that, to push me mentally so that they can spread rumors. She thinks she's all that. She thinks that we were, because they did not look like the rapist type, okay? Including even these cops, to be honest. By the way, I didn't say that they were really going to rape me. I'm saying they're threatening it,
Yeah.
but I never was sexually assaulted by anyone. Yeah, just so you know, I want to put this on your podcast too. The Carmel Police Department really doesn't want me to like, I guess, Michigan police, because they wrote in my report, which you can go pull yourself, public records, just fill out a FOIA. You will see that they wrote that I said that I was raped by police officers in Michigan. I never said that. That's why I requested the body cam, so I could prove that I never said that.
Yeah, this is bringing up a lot more, and I do want to keep this line of communication open because I want to go investigate and pull some of these FOIA requests and then reach back out to you to kind of ask more. Is that going to be okay?
Yes, it would. And I prefer you to do that, but I actually have them. So if you need any other records, like I don't think you can get the jail records. I'll show you the jail records too. I do think they should be public because what they tried to do to me and what they planned to do to me, I'm not scared anymore, but again, it's just shocking. So I mean, like, why would I lie to you? Like, if I'm really this bad person and want to sue them, if I'm that kind of person, right? Wouldn't I lie along with them and say, yeah, I was raped by, these Michigan police officers, right? But I was not. But why would they? That's what I'm trying to tell you before in our private conversation, where we keep focusing on Megan. You guys keep focusing on Megan, but what about these officers? What about them trying to steal and rob from people like me, and then they left me for dead? My situation's very scary. So, um, yeah, again, what was the purpose of saying that I got raped by other police officers? That would only and then put me in a psychiatric facility, right?
Yeah.
So can I just clarify again, reiterate something?
Yeah, of course.
When you put women like me in these mental facilities, I'm thinking the only reason to do that is because if they really were going to end up raping me in a hotel room by hundreds, if not thousands of guys, which is happening around the United States, all over the place, then if I do get angry about it or do want to sue, they're going to use it. Hey, this chick has been in a mental facility. Do you understand? Let me try to diagnose me with delusions, like she just thinks she got raped. That's how psychotic they are. That's how evil they are. They are ruthless. I will never like them. I will never respect any of them. And I think Megan Stoner, as a woman, to put other women in jeopardy, she should be in prison for life. Somebody like that. Anybody, not just her. I'm not just picking on her, right? Anybody.
Well, I mean, I agree or that's one of the things that I felt so strongly about telling the story of her is that, you know, sexual assault is something that unfortunately a lot of women have to live through. I don't know the statistic. I think it might be 1 in 2 or 1 or in 3 women are sexually assaulted, and it gets even worse when it brings in power dynamics like of police officers and things like that.
Yes.
Um
Accuse.
when Megan accuses these powerful people, it of course people want to believe her, but she is so not credible with the stories she's told.
She appears that she does lie, just to confirm. So you are right. She lies more than she tells the truth. That's why, and she's making it very hard for victims like me. You see why I'm so angry with her and disgusted by her?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's one of those things where it can be a case by case basis. Obviously, Megan's the only person who really knows whatever happened to her, but I do know that she's accused people of sexually assaulting her that she's never met before. I mean,
That I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
I didn't know that.
Like she one of the schemes she ran is she said that every member of Trump's first administration would fly to her apartment in Indiana and rape her. And so she said that like Donald Trump Jr. and Mick Mulvaney and Mike Pence and she's taken pictures with Mike Pence, so they've met, but I don't think Mike Pence was going to her apartment for some sort of like Pizzagate thing. So it's like it's things like that where it's so ridiculous and over the top. There was another, she claimed that she worked for the governor of Indiana and she was in charge of burying dead bodies that I guess were people were killing themselves, and she claimed that she was in charge of doing that. Well, that wasn't the case, but she told a or a therapist that that was happening, a therapist in New York, and it got so bad that there was a whole Indiana State Police investigation to figure out if there really were mass suicides in the governor's office and if this person had to deal with it, and it wasn't obviously that it wasn't true. So one of the reasons I felt so strongly about telling this story is because I think that like sexual assault is one of the most evil things that for the most part men do to women, but also women do and stuff. And to invoke that is evil because it takes away from credibility of real survivors. And it really, really bothers me that she did that. And like the story you're telling me about what's going on in jail and stuff, and it sounds like she was kind of up to the same scheme in there of trying to diminish your credibility. And I think
It's so confusing. Amanda, I'll tell you what, it's so confusing. The way you put it in such great perspective, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I called it later. I did say that it was consensual, and I did later, just so you guys, so you know, and the public is aware that I said that she almost seemed like she liked it and was bragging about it. So I did end up telling the lieutenant that, okay? So I would never, ever put these guys' lives and careers in jeopardy, even if it's in jail. And did you know it's still considered rape? I would never jeopardize them in their careers and them in prison. But I'll tell you what angered me and why I'm talking about this is because, but I know you might not believe me, and I'm sorry. It's okay if you don't. I really do think they were going to rape me. At least a couple of those guys. I'm just telling you the truth because first of all, when I was in the psychiatric facility, one of the girls told me she was raped by 20 officers. I think she exaggerated. I think it was more. Another old lady, she was 69. Why would they lie? Two separate. They're not even talking to each other. She told me she was raped by what looked like 30-year-old officers, three of them. So Amanda, I know for sure that women are getting raped, but I think there's more consensual ones. But again, did you know that we're wards of the state? And if we get raped in there, even if we touch him and instigate it, it's still considered rape. And I don't agree with this, but you can still file a lawsuit. So I actually think that they wanted to sexually assault me, let their bottom guys get away with it. One of them was a sergeant, though, that's supposedly doing it. One of them's a regular correctional officer. Because if I sue, along with the other money they want to steal, they were planning to steal it. Do you understand how offensive that is to me?
Of course,
I would never do that I would never do that to the jail. I would listen. Oh, I don't need your 10,000. I need that kind of case. I don't do those things. You're not going to use my body. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I want to be very clear with you. I am not in any way, shape, or form judging your situation or deciding to believe, not believe. Everything you've told me, I'm taking your word for, and I want to go. It sounds like there's a real problem going on in this jail, so I want to go investigate that further. You know what I mean? So don't take anything I'm saying. Don't take anything I'm saying as like, oh, I might not, I'm believing or not believing. You know what I mean?
No, I just want you to be comfortable. I do actually sincerely believe that you believe me, but I just want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to feel bad. I'm just kind of a sensitive soul like that. If you get off the phone with me after this interview or whatever, and then you change, it's okay. It's not that I'm going to dislike you. It's okay. Like I said, I have thick skin. Ask me what you want. If you forget about something, I will definitely leave my line open for you. I hope you go pull those records. If they do give you a hard time, I have everything. I want to send it to you. So let's keep in touch.
Of course, yeah. Send me everything. Yeah, send me everything you have on the Facebook Messenger, and I'll look through that and I'll request things as well. And yeah, I want to investigate this, but I want to close out with this because originally you reached out to me about Megan, and now it seems like there's a bigger story. So I just want to close the loop on Megan a little bit. So Megan's kind of reaching out to you, and you think it's to taunt you, or do you think it's because she wants to use you in some part of a scam. She's going to
Yeah.
ask for money,
Oh,
something like that.
it could be. Now, when I first met her, she's like, "Oh my God, can you imagine? Um, you know, can you imagine us going out to eat and us?" It's the way that she said it was almost like saying, I'm being literal because she was, but kind of like, "Oh my God, we're gonna say that we're like jail people." I forgot what she said, what word she used, jail people, or it was more like convict. I don't know. I'm thinking I don't want anybody to know. I'm trying to get my life in order. What the hell? So I actually think that she is getting a hold of me maybe for a couple different reasons. The first thought in my mind was those guys. That's how obsessed she was with the correctional officers. So is that she wants information about what they did to me, or she deep down she doesn't like to believe it or agree with it. She knows that I was getting a lot of attention in the jail, which I was, so she wants to use me in that way and to possibly scam me. Because look, she did try to scam me in the jail, by the way, for money. So yeah, if she does that, then she'll end up back in jail, and then I could get in trouble. Like, I don't want these officers to know, or these correctional officers even to know that I'm even talking. I don't want to jeopardize myself, Amanda, in any way. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to. That's why. No, I won't give you my location. I know you meant to earlier. No, I can't. But maybe in the future, if things settle down and I know for sure that everything is over with and done with, yeah, because I don't want to live like this. This is annoying.
Do you have like a support system around where you are now?
No, no. That's
Oh,
why.
I'm sorry.
That's why I'm desperate. Your podcast now, but honestly, that's what I'm saying. For women like me, there's almost no support. That's why you will continue to get targeted and taunted by them because they know their place. They know women like me, we end up dead, suicide, back in jail, back in a guy's hands as a domestic abuser. They know. So, but they want you for them. They want to rob you. They want to rape you. They might want to marry you. They want a girlfriend on the side. That's what they do. I don't, you're not going to disrespect me, my mind, my body. You're not going to use me to file lawsuits with Trader Joe's, okay? Because that's what my brothers are trying to do. They called the jail. They were talking personally about me. I know, I saw the jail. I'm going to show you in the jail report. They talked to my sister, okay? I mean, totally inappropriate and unethical, and it's supposed to be illegal, but that's what they're doing in Hamilton County. And so my sister's telling them basically, okay, basically kind of like that they're telling them how much money I have in the bank. So those officers, as I'm saying, they all want to get out of there. They're all miserable. It's not just Megan Stoner being miserable and a scammer. Okay, that's them too. Let's focus on them too. But yeah, Megan, is she worse than them? Honestly, Amanda, I don't know. Is she worse of a criminal? I mean, I don't know because after what you just told me, she sounds, it sounds really, really, really bad. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But just because one crime is worse than another doesn't mean that the other crime doesn't matter. So, I mean,
yeah,
I
exactly.
thank you for trusting me.
Badges,
Yeah.
right? When you're older than her, you have badges. You're not supposed to instigate fights against other inmates because you're endangering them. You're not supposed to have affairs. You're not supposed to sleep with other coworkers, which I sent one of the sergeants. Her name is Pierce. Can't, oh my God. She was a freaking nightmare. I don't know how she did it, but I was just like, is she really telling me that she's having affairs and these are her men, these are her guys, so don't F with them? I'm not joking. So again, I'm going to keep the line open if you want to hear more. And I would like to say more because, again, I want them to leave me alone. I don't want this to happen to another woman. I mean, there's all kinds of abuse, but women only hear that women get raped in there. I was like, what the heck is this? This is like, what? Not only were there not really any rape, they were mostly consensual.
Hmm.
The women were sexually harassing the correctional officers, bothering them. It was unreal to me.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, again, a few of the women that don't want it, then that's what I'm saying. I blame the women. I blame these Megan Stoners because now they're going to think it's okay to bother women that don't want to be bothered in there. Like, believe me, I don't have time for that. I'm a happy, single, independent woman. I don't need like another domestic violence. I can't, I mean, I can't afford to take care of another man that wants to quit his job or whatever. And I'm not saying to insult them. I didn't believe the inmates when they would verbally abuse them and say, oh, they hate their job. They hate their job. But the whole time they were crushing over them. They were so disrespectful to the correctional officers. I couldn't stand them. There was a couple times I wanted to beat the inmates. If I could get away with it and beat the shit out of them, that's how disrespectful they spoke. about them behind their back and to their face. It was so disturbing and embarrassing. I won't even repeat what the inmates were saying to the correctional officers. It was very bad.
Yeah.
And obviously, but I'm not sticking up for them. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of bad ones, but I'm just saying, but nobody deserves to be verbally abused, taunted, or made fun of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
So, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm wrapping my head around all of this. I think, would it be okay if I end the recording here and I reach back out after I do a little bit of digging?
yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Do a
you.
second one, you mean? Do a second podcast? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a lot. I tried to warn you. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a lot. If you're willing, I'm so thankful that you're willing to hear like other parts of what happened, but minus Megan Stoner. Just because, I actually thought, should I do a podcast? But I don't have time. I don't want to do that right now. And again, I'm like running for my life. I don't have time for that. And yeah, I would really appreciate it. And for whatever reason you're doing it for, I really appreciate it. And I hope you do reach out. So I will leave my line open, okay?
Of course. Of course. Of course. All right. Well, you have a great night. Thank you so much for talking to me. I hope you remain safe. Please reach out to me if you think of anything. And yeah, I'm going to start digging more into the story and stuff.
Okay, so what I'll do is let me read over the one police report because if you do decide to go like public with it, which it's public and anybody can get it, if there's just something under like my address or just something that I just feel like is uncomfortable, I might want to black it out. But again, if you're like dead set on I want to read the whole thing, you're more than welcome to. Honestly, okay. I just don't know if I want like the whole entire thing like on Facebook or whatever. I don't think you would do that to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to give any personal information out. I think that would violate journalistic standards. But yeah, have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for talking to me again. And I'll be in touch.
Talk very shortly then.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Talk very shortly, okay?
Yes. All right. Bye-bye.